How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just want to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark Elevation from tonight, which is November 8th, 2021. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Danny Adams. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, Powerhouse Hobbs went over with the torture rack. Match 2, it was The Butcher and the Blade versus the Best Friends, which are Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta. That was a great match, but the ending to it, The Butcher and the Blade went over cause the Butcher pinned Wheeler Yuta by the Drag the Lake from The Butcher and the Blade. That was match 2, by the way. Match 3, it was Riho versus Tootie Lynn. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Riho went over with a diving foot stomp. That was match 3, by the way. Match 4, it was Matt Hardy versus Dean Alexander. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Matt Hardy went over with the leech. Well, before the match, as Dean Alexander was out in the ring and Matt Hardy came out to the ring, Matt Hardy got a microphone and cut a promo and asked Dean Alexander, "What's your name?" Dean Alexander said, "I'm Dean Alexander and I'm from Kansas City, Kansas, baby." Matt Hardy said, I didn't ask all that, but I am going to ask you, what is my name?" Dean Alexander said, "You're Matt Hardy." Matt Hardy said, "Yes, I am Matt Hardy, but I am Big Money Matt Hardy. And tonight, and right now in our match, I'm going to kick your ass. And after I kick your ass, you're going to be saying my name more respectfully and everything." That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. Match 5, yeah, that was match 4, by the way. Match 5, it was Ruby Soho and Ryo Mizunami versus Emi Sakura and Nyla Rose. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Ruby Soho and Ryo Mizunami went over cause Ruby Soho pinned Emi Sakura with the Pele kick. Well, after the match, as Ruby Soho and Ryo Mizunami were celebrating their victory, Nyla Rose pulled Ryo Mizunami out of the ring and beat the shit out of her and slammed her into the barricade, laying her out. And Mai Saruga and Lulu Pencil got in the ring and distracted Ruby Soho. Well, Ruby Soho was getting ready to beat the shit out of Mai Saruga and Lulu Pencil, but Nyla Rose came into the ring and attacked Ruby Soho. Nyla Rose came back into the ring and attacked Ruby Soho from behind, and Emi Sakura, well, Mai Saruga and Lulu Pencil picked Ruby Soho up and took her to Emi Sakura. Well, Emi Sakura attacked Ruby Soho with the Queen's Gambit, and Emi Sakura was getting ready to put Ruby Soho onto the rope, and Nyla Rose was getting ready to execute the diving knee drop to Ruby Soho, but Chris Statlander came out with a steel chair, and Emi Sakura, Mai Saruga, and Lulu Pencil all left the ring. And Nyla, as Chris Statlander was getting ready to attack them, they left the ring, and Nyla Rose did too. So Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, Vicky Guerrero, Mai Saruga, and Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, Vicky Guerrero, Mai Saruga, and Lulu Pencil all retreated, and and Ryo Mizunami got back into the ring to celebrate. Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander shook hands and stared each other down and everything, and Chris Statlander left the ring, and Ryo Mizunami got back into the ring, and Ruby Soho and Ryo Mizunami celebrated their victory and everything. That was cool. And that was after the match, by the way. And that was match 5, by the way. And match 6, which was the main event, it was the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds, versus 2.0, which are Matt Lee and Jeff Parker, and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Dark Order went over because John Silver pinned Jeff Parker with the fatality from Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Well, before the match, the Dark Order came out to the ring, and after the Dark Order came out, the Acclaimed and 2.0 came out to the ring, and Max Caster done a rap on the Dark Order, and Anthony Bowens done his signature line, Kansas City, the Acclaimed have arrived, and everything. That was cool. And that was before the match, by the way. Now, there were no promos or segments for this episode of All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark Elevation. So besides the matches, Excalibur, Paul White, and Mark Henry done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And originally, Tony Schiavone does commentary for AEW Dark Elevation, but Excalibur filled in for Tony Schiavone on commentary because Tony Schiavone had interviews he had to do and everything. But next week, I feel like Tony Schiavone will be back next week on commentary. And the referees for the event were Mike Posey, Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, and Aubrey Edwards. Okay. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Powerhouse Hobbs versus Danny Adams. Rick Knox refereed the match between The Butcher and the Blade versus The Best Friends. Paul Turner refereed the match between Riho versus Tootie Lynn. That was Paul Turner, by the way. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Matt Hardy versus Dean Alexander. Mike Posey refereed the match between Ruby Soho and Ryo Mizunami versus Emi Sakura and Nyla Rose. That's Mike Posey, by the way. And Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between the Dark Order versus 2.0 and the Acclaimed. All the referees done awesome as usual. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark Elevation from tonight, which is November 8th, 2021. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.